Welcome to the Ultimate Bear Showdown, 3 bears, 1 wild arena. Ladies and gentlemen, bear lovers and wilderness warriors, buckle up because tonight's the night you've been waiting for. This isn't your average nature documentary, oh no. This is Bear Battle Royale, a wild showdown where fur flies, claws clash, and only one bear walks away as king of the wilderness. Picture it, a misty forest clearing, trees towering overhead like an ancient coliseum. The ground trembles. The crowd of imaginary woodland creatures holds its breath. Why? Because 3 of the most powerful bears on the planet are stepping into the ring. In this corner, straight from the icy edges of the Arctic, weighing in at a whopping 1,700 pounds and covered in muscle-packed white fur, it's the polar bear. Cold-hearted, cold-blooded, and cool as ice, this guy is the heavyweight champ of the frozen north. In the opposite corner, sneaky, speedy, and smarter than your average picnic thief, it's the black bear. He may be the smallest of the bunch, but don't be fooled. This bear is a master of survival, a stealthy shadow in the woods, and possibly the craftiest contender in the match. And in the third corner, with the roar of a thunderstorm and the biceps of a bodybuilder, hailing from the rugged backcountry of North America, give it up for the grizzly bear. Strength, aggression, and raw wilderness power rolled into one ferocious furball. Now here's the big question, with power, brains, and brute force in the ring, who's coming out on top? Will the polar bear's size overwhelm the others? Can the black bear outsmart and outmaneuver them both? Or will the grizzly's mix of strength and ferocity claim the crown? Trust me, you don't want to miss what's about to happen. Grab your honey, maybe a bag of trail mix, and let's dive into the most epic bear brawl nature has ever seen. Because this isn't just a fight, it's survival of the furriest. The polar bear, king of the ice, beast of the north. Now let's talk about the heavyweight champion of the frozen world. The one, the only, the polar bear, also known as Ursus maritimus if you want to sound fancy at parties. But trust me, there's nothing delicate about this Arctic powerhouse. Imagine a white-furred tank with claws. That's your polar bear. These icy titans can weigh up to 800 kilograms. That's nearly 1,800 pounds, or roughly the weight of a Harley-Davidson plus the guy riding it. When one of these bears stomps across the tundra, even the ice cracks with respect. But here's what really blows my mind. This bear isn't just big. It's built for battle. Those paws, the size of dinner plates, with razor-sharp claws that can slice through blubber like a sushi chef going after bluefin tuna. And the bite force, about 1,200 psi. That's enough pressure to snap a bowling ball like a dry biscuit. But it's not all about muscle, oh no, the polar bear is brilliant. In fact, it might just be the smartest hunter among bears. These guys can literally smell a seal from over half a mile away, even when it's chilling under several feet of solid snow. Think about that. Can you smell your pizza delivery that far out? Didn't think so. And get this, polar bears use tools. Yep, you heard that right. They've been spotted using chunks of ice or rocks to strike larger prey like walruses. That's not just brute force, that's prehistoric problem solving. Like if Thor went to engineering school. Now, in our battle scenario, this guy plays the role of the tank. He's massive, he's slow compared to the others, but every move he makes is devastating. If he lands a hit, it's game over. He doesn't chase you down like a cheetah. He waits, he watches, and then he delivers a one-hit knockout. But here's the million-dollar question. Can size and power alone win a fight against quicker, more agile opponents? Or does brains and brute force make him an unstoppable Arctic juggernaut? We'll find out soon. But one thing's for sure, if I was stranded in a snowstorm and heard heavy breathing outside my tent, I'd pray it was Santa's reindeer. Because if it's this guy, I'm not making it to New Year's. Let's move on and meet his next rival, one who may be smaller, but trust me, he's got tricks up his furry sleeve. The black bear, a ninja of the North Woods. Now hold on to your granola, because our next contender might be the underdog of this battle, but don't let the size fool you. Introducing the black bear, nature's stealthiest operator, and quite possibly the cleverest bear in the room. If the polar bear is a tank and the grizzly is a freight train, then the black bear is a ninja in a fur coat. He's smaller, sure. Adult males usually weigh between 200 to 600 pounds, and that's featherlight compared to his burlier cousins. But this guy doesn't need brute strength to win. He's got brains, reflexes, and survival instincts honed sharper than his claws. Ever seen a bear climb a tree like a squirrel? That's your black bear. They're master climbers, using their curved claws to shoot up trees in seconds. I've personally watched one scale a 20-foot pine like it was a jungle gym at recess. And guess what? While the grizzly and polar bear are still figuring out how to throw haymakers, this guy's already halfway up a tree, plotting his next move like a Black Ops commando. And let's talk about adaptability. Black bears are the ultimate opportunists. Their diet is all over the map: berries, nuts, insects, fish, small mammals, even your cooler if you're careless on a camping trip. They're basically the eat anything, survive anywhere champions of the bear world. Got drought? No problem. Got snow? Easy. Lost in suburbia? They'll find a bird feeder or trash can buffet in no time. So how does that play into the battle? Well, while the polar bear and grizzly are busy brawling like it's WrestleMania, the black bear's busy reading the battlefield. He knows when to strike and when to vanish. He might sneak through underbrush, use tree cover to ambush from above, or disappear into the shadows before anyone knows what hit them. To me, the black bear is like a guerrilla fighter in a wildlife war zone. He's not trying to outmuscle you. He's trying to outsmart you. You ever play chess with someone who's always 2 moves ahead? That's him, but here's the twist. Can brains, agility, and strategy really overcome sheer size and strength? If a black bear knows exactly when and where to hit, does that give him the edge? We're about to find out, but make no mistake. In the wild, the smartest survivor often outlasts the strongest one, so don't count out the ninja just yet. He may not roar the loudest, but he just might be the last one standing. The grizzly bear, wrath of the wild. Alright folks, we've talked about the icy juggernaut and the ninja of the forest. But now, it's time to meet the true gladiator of the wilderness, the grizzly bear. Big, brawny, and battle-tested, this beast is basically nature's version of a pro wrestler mixed with a tactical genius. You want raw power, the grizzly brings it in spades. Adult males can weigh up to 1,500 pounds, and they're packing muscle on top of muscle. These guys aren't just big, they're built like powerlifters that never skip leg day. When a grizzly rears up on its hind legs, it can tower over 8 feet tall. That's taller than your garage door. Imagine that coming at you, teeth bared and claws ready. Speaking of claws, holy moly, 4-inch claws, nearly 10 centimeters long. Speaking of claws, holy moly, 4-inch claws, nearly 10 centimeters long. That's longer than your car key and sharper than your kitchen knives. These aren't just for show either. Grizzlies use them for digging, tearing, and delivering absolutely devastating swipes in a fight. And that bite force, equal to the polar bear at 1,200 psi. Basically, if it bites down on a bowling ball, the bowling ball loses. But here's what really sets the grizzly apart. This isn't just some brute smashing its way through the forest. No. Grizzlies are strategic predators. They've got experience, they've got intelligence, and they've got versatility. These bears can switch up their tactics depending on the situation. During salmon season, they're precision fishers. When large prey like moose or deer are around, they turn into high-speed bulldozers and go in for the takedown. I once watched footage of 2 grizzlies fighting over territory. Let me tell you, it was like watching 2 titans go head-to-head. Every blow, every move was calculated. These bears aren't just aggressive, they're trained by the wild. They fight other bears, wolves, even the occasional cougar, and they learn from every single encounter. In our triple bear battle, the grizzly plays the role of the wilderness warrior. He's got that rare combo of raw strength and tactical thinking. He won't just charge in blindly. He sizes up his opponents, finds their weakness, and then strikes with terrifying precision. Think of him as the battle-hardened veteran in a war movie, scarred, fierce, and not backing down for anything. But here's the big question. Can a mix of brute force and battlefield smarts give the grizzly the upper hand against the colder, heavier polar bear or the agile, cunning black bear? Is well-rounded power the ultimate trump card? You'll want to stick around to find out, because when a grizzly bear gets serious, the forest holds its breath. And in a fight like this, one swipe can change everything. Bear brawl mayhem, the triple clash ignites. Alright folks, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Forget pay-per-view boxing or pro wrestling. This is the real wild showdown. Three apex predators, each with their own strengths, instincts, and egos, thrown into one chaotic battlefield. The air is thick with tension, fur is flying, and only one will walk away, the true king of claws. The arena, a dense forest clearing somewhere between snow, rock, and pine. The stage is set. The black bear, small but scrappy, is the first to make a move. He's eyeing the grizzly, thinking maybe he can sneak in a fast shot. And he does. With a burst of speed, he lunges, swipes at the grizzly's face, hoping to catch him off guard. But that grizzly, he's no rookie. With a swift, thundering counter swipe, he clocks the black bear with enough force to send pine needles raining down from nearby trees. Oof, that's gonna leave a mark. Then it happens. The polar bear, silent and watchful like a frosty tank, sees his opening. While the grizzly's still shaking off the black bear's surprise jab, the polar bear charges in like a freight train. It's a battle of giants now, blubber versus muscle, ice versus earth. Massive paws collide, snow sprays into the air, and the sounds of roars and slams echo like distant thunder. But hold up, the black bear's not out of the game. This ninja isn't going down without causing some chaos. Out of nowhere, he leaps onto the polar bear's back like a furry rodeo star, biting and clawing for dear life. The polar bear bucks wildly, twisting and spinning until the black bear goes flying into the bushes like a football getting punted. Now we're down to the two big boys. The grizzly and the polar bear square up, both blooded, both breathing heavy. This isn't just about strength anymore, it's about survival. One brutal bite, one perfectly aimed strike could end it all. And that's exactly what the grizzly delivers. With a sudden charge and years of wild fighting instinct, the grizzly locks his jaws onto the polar bear's neck. It's a desperate, bone-crushing move, and with one final twist, the polar bear falls. The great ice king is down. But don't think for a second that the grizzly comes out clean. He's limping, bleeding, his fur matted and torn. The black bear, bruised and dazed, watches from the shadows, knowing this fight just changed everything. So here's the real question. In this forest of fury and fangs, does victory belong to the strongest, the smartest, or the one who picks the perfect moment to strike? If all three bears walk into a fight and only one walks out, what does that really say about survival in the wild? This isn't just a battle. It's a reminder that in nature, every creature big or small plays to win in its own way. And sometimes, the wildest moves come from the unlikeliest warriors. The final showdown, the last bear standing. Here we are, folks. The dust is settling. The forest echoes with the growls of battle now past. The mighty polar bear lies still. The black bear is bruised, but his heart still pounding. And the grizzly, blooded, battered, but unbroken. One last round remains in this ultimate bear battle royale. The final matchup. Grizzly bear versus black bear. Think of it like David versus Goliath, but in this version, David is quick, clever, and loaded with claws. The black bear knows he can outmuscle the grizzly, so he does what he does best. He dodges, ducks, weaves through the trees like a furry shadow. It's like watching a featherweight boxer dance around a heavyweight slugger. One moment he's there, the next he's vanished into the underbrush. He uses every branch, rock, and bush to stay alive, but here's the thing. You can only run so long before the storm catches you, and catch him, it does. With one thunderous swipe, the grizzly's massive paw connects with the black bear's side. You could practically hear the wind whoosh from his lungs. Before he can recover, the grizzly closes in, a bite. Not just any bite, a devastating, bone-crushing chomp right to the neck. The black bear collapses, the fight is over. The clearing is quiet again. Standing alone, covered in mud, fur, and the marks of war, is the grizzly bear. He's limping, he's panting, but he's alive. And more importantly, he's victorious. So, what makes the grizzly the ultimate survivor? Let's break it down. Raw strength, check. Tactical smarts, check. Battle experience, absolutely. The grizzly didn't just win with brawn. He sized up his enemies, adapted his tactics, and delivered at the perfect moment. That's not just wild instinct, that's what you call a complete predator package. In my opinion, and I've spent years studying these animals in the field, the grizzly is the perfect balance of power and brains. He can take a hit, give one right back, and outlast even the most aggressive rivals. He's like the heavyweight champ that also graduated top of his class. But now let me ask you this. What if the fight had happened in the snowy Arctic, or deep in a mountain cave, or during salmon season? Would the outcome have changed? Would environment, timing, or hunger flip the tables? In nature, there are no guarantees. Every fight is a puzzle of instinct, experience, and setting. And that's what makes wildlife so endlessly fascinating. But for today, the grizzly bear stands tall, tired but triumphant. The last bear standing, the true king of claws,